Hi Kaiser. Aavak, I was just wondering. I know Wanderer is going to run some D&D for a bunch of the Wholesome First group. Are you involved in that at all? I haven't signed up for it yet. I do need to have a look over things, but I think I may have missed the boat on that one. But I just basically need to grab a little bit of time and look over what's being discussed in the D&D channel. Now, with that in mind, I need the sensors for, cancel that build. We actually want to change this orientation down like that so that I can have the conveyor chute, which also needs to be made of steel, there. That needs to go away. Unfortunately, branch up like that. There we go. And likewise, we're going to want steel conveyor rails just to get... Oh, why did I build that? Just to get that out of the way. This is a conveyor rail. I want a liquid vent. Thank you. There we go. Insulated pipe. And from here, it doesn't really matter if this is insulated. I just want to make sure it's insulated going into that room. Though I suppose it doesn't really matter because the liquid isn't going to be staying in the pipe at all. I can just imagine the madness an artificer Aavak could cause. I've not watched Aavak since you were playing Robocraft back in the day. Hope you're still doing well. Always loved your personality. Oh, thank you very much. That's lovely of you to say. I've had a couple of people pop in here from old Robocraft videos today. It's kind of a blast from the past, bit of a nostalgia run. No, I wasn't playing Robocraft with Wanda. I was playing TerraTech with Wanda. Very different game. I'm just going to allow people to get that bit of work done. How's this room doing? Okay. Not doing bad. I'm starting to pull down the weight of copper there now, though, which is very much appreciated. Another 38 cycles of activity there. How many cycles left on the natural gas? 30 cycles. I dislike that these two are more or less in sync. I would like it more if they would spend a bit more time covering for each other, but oh well. On the plus side, though, we do have steam. And I approve of the steam. We should see more steam creeping across now because this is going to be warming the steam as it comes through. And warming the temp shift plates and everything else in contact with the steam. And once the temp shift plates have been warmed up properly, then this room should start to be able to sustain its heat. Yeah, conveyor rails, the regolith by the time it reaches here is only 100 degrees. It's quite a lot better than it was previously, though. 24 tons of a 17.8 degree regolith. Wow. This is a very chilly setup over here now. That's actually kind of crazy. This is extremely chilly too. I approve. Quite a lot. Okay, the temperature on these conveyor rails is easily able to handle the steam. So it's not going to condense the steam up there. Down here, a little bit less so. A little bit less so, but it's getting there. Yeah, Robocraft. Robocraft is in the same game, I think, that a lot of people enjoyed watching me play. And so at this point, I would imagine that if someone specifically enjoyed my Robocraft content, they probably wouldn't necessarily be too interested in seeing me playing what Robocraft is now. What the... There's a buried object in that vacuum. Disapprove. Moving 7 tons of regular manually. I admire your conviction and your dedication to the job that I gave you. Well done, you. Oh, I can't place it there. Well, there we go then. Right, time, I think, for us to move this. Diamond will be taken elsewhere, but the regolith will be put back into the system. I mean, ultimately the regolith will just pop out down here, but, you know. Right now, I wonder, can hatches eat regolith? Ooh, I don't know. Oh, I'm almost certainly going to be checking out From the Depths again. Honestly, I wish I already had. It's just time. Only time is going in the way. No, they can't eat regolith. That would be too easy. Okay, fair enough. We are almost finished with this now, peeps. I am super happy with that. Oh no, wait. I just realized. I've been building this wrong. We weren't going to do it like this, were we? We were going to have this as just a fully diamond windowed area. That being said, since I can't have it all snazzy... No, you know what? We'll change our plans. I will go with this. Alright, it's time for my psychologist appointment. So I will be muting you for a bit. Take care, Aavak and chat. Take care, hi guys. I hope you enjoy the appointment, mate. Okay, we've gotten rid of pretty much all of the water on the ground over here, which is very good to see. Look at that, make sure that that's not going to be able to bring in more water. No. Now we're just waiting for it to start evaporating all of this. Shouldn't take us too long. And all of this just from the regolith that was delivered to us by space. I approve. Yeah, at this point, the aqua unit itself is way too hot for anything to be near. Right, deeply satisfied with that. It's actually getting up there in temperature over here as well. Not bad. Got a little bit of extra charge in the batteries. How's the copper volcano down here doing? There we go. This will soon enough start the engine. There we are. Perfect. We have dropped reasonably warm copper up there, but it's doing okay. With that in mind, in fact, I could... We've got so much copper now that I could quite easily pop through here and continue to expand this out. Okay. Got another 4 sections to add these into. I'm going to drop the priority on those, though. These are not ultra high priority. We'll slowly get this place completely set up with copper temp shift plates. Pretty much just because copper is so cheap for us now. Alright, what's this room at? It's only 102. But it's rising. The temp shift plates are the really, really good ones to watch. The only thing regolith is used for is water sieve and deodorizer. Well, you can feed them to shovels. Also, I believe... Let me have a quick look. I'm fairly certain that regolith has a particular quirk. So regolith's specific heat capacity is 0.2. Very little energy is required to change its temperature. And thermal conductivity of 1, which is okay. Now, when it turns in... It melts into magma at 1,400 degrees. The important thing to look at here is the specific heat capacity. Thermal conductivity doesn't change. The specific heat capacity does. So at 1,400 degrees, something which took, 0.2 energy per degree of that. So 1/5 of that temperature in energy units to create. Now has the heat energy of something which would have required an entire DTU. 1,400 DTUs to do. So you basically multiply the heat by a factor of 5. This has got 5 times as much energy in it for its weight as the regolith had when it turned into it. If you turn it into igneous rock, it doesn't gain any more energy, and this is what magma cools down into, turns into igneous rock. So from regolith to magma to igneous rock, you're getting 5 times as much energy out as you had to put in to turn the regolith into the magma. I haven't seen anything beyond the beginning of this game, and I was very surprised when I joined the stream and saw how expansive Aavak space is. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the show. I assume that this has pleased you and hasn't confused you at all. Yeah, you can cook regolith to produce energy. Aavak, if you have a salt supply, cooking them also pretty good source of energy production. Cooking salt? Really? Okay, salt water. Turns into brine. Oh no, actually it leaves salt, okay. So salt, specific heat capacity of 0.7. Turns into molten salt. Specific heat capacity of 0.7. Not seeing it. Not seeing it. How are you seeing this multiply energy? Oh, okay. It's turning into salt gas. Gives you a specific capacity of 0.88. Alright. I get you. Though, I wonder, salt water. Specific capacity of 4.1. Brine, 3.4, so you lose that. But yeah, if you turn into salt gas, you get more energy out. For the longest time, my base is very late game because I'm not good at the game. I'm relatively new, and chat decided to stick me on a map where heat was going to be a ridiculous problem. And so I've spent a lot of the game managing the basics, or trying to. Power has been the big mid-game hump for me over heat, because despite this being Oassise, it's got a frozen core, so I have transitioned to basically just dumping heat into the core. That is 100% kicking the can down the road, but it's allowed me to just focus on power a little bit more. And little by little, we're slowly starting to get somewhere with this. We are actually starting to see this doing reasonably well. By the time it gets down here, it's only 120. This is kicking it out if it's below 150. Some of this, that one in particular. Why are these ones so... Oh, it's probably that I couldn't dump it in here fast enough. 23.7, see. We kick it out once it's cold enough, basically. There's 49.5 tons of regolith down there. Well done. Okay, well, this is now just going to gradually produce more steam, and we'll eventually just start getting a little bit of energy out of that regolith. The fact that I'm cooling it below 150 actively, that harms the energy economy of this whole setup. But it does give me cool regolith for the internals of my base, so I'm reasonably okay with this. Setting up a little shovel farm down here will be quite nice, I think. I can have the regolith just dropped off into the shovel farm. Someone made a mess. Who did what now? Really? I knew it. I knew you couldn't be trusted. Come on. Flee. I mean, it's all oxygen in here, so you shouldn't suffocate, but I don't trust dupes. You say you haven't got it good, but I can't make it past a cycle 50 without hating my base enough to want to restart. Oh, yeah, I guess that does happen sometimes. Oh dear, got chlorine in the base. Oh, that's rough. Yeah, it is rough. Disapprove. I mean, the way to get that chlorine out of the base is to have more of these dotted around, I guess, but... If I start wiping out the CO2 that's in here, then I'm going to hurt my slicksters, which I'm a little bit less inclined to do. Despite the obvious benefits. I guess having the slicksters farm over here, probably setting up something in this area, will be a good idea. For now, I'm just going to allow the chlorine to enter the base. I will eventually cycle it out. If it becomes a big issue, then I will deal with it directly, but until then, I think we're going to be okay for now. This little copper volcano is still doing okay. Yeah. How are we doing with the copper in the industrial brick? Doing well. Right. Well, let's go down and have a quick check on the progress with our volcano build. That can allow everything. If these things want to dump anything in there, perfectly fine. Now we're going to want a very similar setup to what we've got over here. And that is, I want hysteresis, effectively. So we're going to want 2. Thermosensors. Made of steel, otherwise this could be a problem. Now I've got to try and weave. Trying to weave the temperature in here around all of this is going to be a pain in the bum. I guess I could just have the temperature sensors over on this side and only really react to it if there's any point. Well, actually, what I was going to say is that I'm going to need to deal with this, but we're not, are we? Because I'm going to have conveyor rails moving through this room. It's going to be a very... Ooh, oh no. The potential temperatures in this room are going to be very high. Do I want to... Alright, chat. This room, based on the amount of water I initially put in there, managed to very easily absorb that temperature. Are we going to want something similar in the volcano? This is a big question. Would I be able to get away with just having a conveyor rail made of something like copper, or rather than having to make it out of steel? I don't know about that one. I really don't know. That one seems like it could be a big issue for me. This is why I didn't end up using a conveyor rail system around the whole area in here in the previous one. Especially because some of the conveyor rails are going to be right there in front of the volcano. Well, if nothing else, I can drop in some diamond temp shift plates. I'll probably have a fourth one there, and then I'm just going to allow these ones to be unique in there, and then the rest of them in here will be copper. Once I've got all of that ready to set up. What do you think, chat? Go for steel transport rails through the steam room for the volcano? Or do you think we would be able to manage with something else, like just copper? Does this... Once we had enough water on the ground, it took a very long time for this to warm up, and we've been able to control that temperature very, very easily. Do whichever is hard of you. Leafin, you scoundrel, you. But also, where are we going to remove the rails from? So ultimately I want to weave rails through the room if I can. What's copper ore's melting point? Ores. It's 1083. Iron ore is going to be a chunk higher. Can't remember what gold ore is. 1500. It's almost at the maximum temperature this is going to be able to output at. It's going to be... Oh, it's going to be gold amalgam, isn't it? Yeah, not at all surprising. Okay. We'll roll with iron ore. I am going to avoid playing with the volcano directly. Damn it. I have miscalculated the amount of space needed here. And that is going to hurt my brain. No, we're going to be fine. Symmetry! Only we don't want that to just directly input onto this line. We want it... Oh no, actually we do. We do want it to directly input on. But we very much want to make sure that this has a bridge to control which direction this moves in. Like so. So right now that is a complete system. The alternative... Yeah, no, I think that should be fine. Two exits right next to each other. There shouldn't be any way for that to get messed up. We are going to want... This is going to be ugly. We're not going to be able to get that to easily wrap the way I want it to. But we can have the conveyor shut off here. Actually, no, we can. Well, we can have the conveyor shut off there, I suppose. Ho ho! I've got it. We can make this work, chat. We can use every single bit of space. No problem. Hey! There we go. It's not as pretty as my last area, true, but... oops, that needs to be in slightly different orientation. We want it pointing up like this, like so, and then the conveyor rail center exists there. And this rail will move out in this direction, should it be the right temperature. I think that works okay. Yeah, we're farming steam power. Well, steam power and the igneous rock, ultimately, because then I can just feed that to my hatches. Have stone hatches for days. Which means I'd have coal for days. Which means I have the refined carbon for days. Which means I have steel for days. Well, I mean, kind of. In a way, yes. Because I would have the refined carbon from the hatches, plus... the eggshells from the hatches to make the lime and the refined carbon. Oh, sorry, the coal from the hatches. So coal into refined carbon, eggshells into lime. Then I just need iron ore, and I've got steel. Iron from the heavens. Indeed, likely prophet. From celestial collisions. Take care, Alphatronics. Thanks for dropping by, mate. Really, really was a pleasure. They look very happy to be doing this work. I can understand that. It is very good work to be doing. Now, for the time being, I suspect we're going to be able to manage this, the heat in this room reasonably well. At least I certainly hope we can. We can have the main cooling loop sweeping up and going through the steam room above it to cool those steam generators down. The ideal here, and the ideal for me, is to have this be self-powering. I couldn't quite click on who's idle. Why are you idle? Lack of power, fair enough. That is a good reason to be idle.